How can you possibly make a Bondi kit any better? Well, you make a diorama. In particular, I really like the scene in Rogue One where K2SO was at the control panel and the stormtrooper comes in and he doesn't even turn his head. He just picks up his gun and shoots the guy. I have enough stuff to where I could actually do that whole scene because I have other Bondi kits of the stormtroopers, and that will just. I think the stormtroopers are not that interesting as a model. I mean, yeah, I've had this for years, so when there was nothing else, that's awesome. And the Bondi kits are great, but it's just a stormtrooper. Just it needs something to make it look more interesting. So putting it in that diorama setting would do that. But I just want to start off with the the K2SO kit and then the pedestals. So what it is the pedestal is, well, I'll put a picture up. And so you can see there, he's at the control panel and it has 5 different uh, control panels. So I didn't have to individually make the control panels. What I decided to do is make one control panel and cast it. So I got excited and got involved in getting it done. So I'm pretty much almost done with it. So here's the control panel, and what I'm doing now is I'm putting it in a foam core structure so I can cast it. But I wanted to kind of show you where I was before I got too far along. I think it's going to come out pretty good. I'm really happy with the way it's looking so far. And who knows? It might become a kit available. This might be my first mediocre modeler. Boy, that's a mouthful. Mediocre modeler Bondi accessory kit. You never know. When I was in the 2nd grade, my dad retired from the Air Force, and we moved from Texas to Kansas. In that move, my mom decided that she was going to change a lot of things, and one of those things was she was going to become more health conscious. And the biggest thing that really hit home on that was she started making chili with lentils. Lentil chili. So from the 2nd grade until my graduation, my pot of chili didn't have red beans, it had lentils in it. And I can safely say I had no use for lentils up until now. Why are we using lentils? Well, okay, so we've got our form made for our control panel, and I don't want to waste any extra fluid, so what I have to figure out how much what the volume of liquid that I'm going to be using to do half this and then half again. And so how I do that is I take my lentils and I pour them in the form until it's about halfway. Then I take that, pour it into a measuring cup. That's my volume, and then I can mix my solution to figure out how much I'm going to use, and I don't waste that much. You can use rice, you can use whatever. I'm using lentils because they were in the cabinet, and they had been in the cabinet for a couple of years, and I figured the wife wasn't going to use them, so lentils. As far as I can tell, she hasn't missed them, so anyway, sorry, honey. Anyway, lentil. It's science. The only thing about using the lentils, if you can do this with clay, but okay, you can do this with clay, and the nice thing about clay, you can put your registration marks in on your base, and what your registration marks are. So this is the mold that I did for the scope, and what I did is I made these marks in here so that my two halves of my mold would line up together, and they're going to line up together the same way every time. Because if you, without those registration marks, there's no guarantee that you're going to get them, you know, dead on straight. So what I'll have to do is the same thing here. Pour my first half, put the registration marks in the molded part of there, so that when I fill the last half of it, the fluid flows down into those holes and gives me something to align the molds together and lock them to. So, all right, that looks pretty good. One important tip: always store your lentils in a container that has a good solid lid on it, because if the cat knocks it over, you're not going to be happy. But it cleans up pretty easy with a vacuum. Anywho, we've got the Mold Star 30 has been poured and it's starting to cure. It'll be done in about 6 hours. So we're going to call it quits for the moment. Go build something.
Pew 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 pew.